We're live. I don't know how.
All right, good morning, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Somebody give me a chat that says you can hear me. All right, thank you. So this is our second session, 2020 Virus Virtual Clinic. We're gonna dive into intentional grounding today from a crew mechanics perspective. We'll talk rule, we'll talk some nationally accepted philosophies. And we got the disclaimer up there, so just read the disclaimer and realize this is just a bunch of us getting together to talk some football officiating. Obviously, whatever is the message is from your conference is what what rules the way you work plays. But let's just talk football. We'll watch video. We've got some polls. And before we start, I'm not sure who mentioned, who named this as a virus clinic, but I'm going to name it the virus-free clinic. Okay? So there's my joke for the day. I'm done. But we're virus-free today, okay? So don't worry about catching any viruses. So disclaimer: you've got all your functionalities to the right if you're on a laptop, and I think a tablet. If you're on a phone, functionality is below. So you can ask questions in the chat. You'll do the polls to the right or below, and then video will just stream like normal. And that's about. Thanks, Chris, for the bad joke. I thought it was pretty good. Virus-free clinic. Nobody's gonna have virus today. Let's go to the plays. All right. So play one. I'm gonna put up a poll. So hopefully you're seeing the poll. Just troubleshoot it in the chat, and we've got people to help. So play one. Okay. Is loading. Okay, so we're gonna watch the quarterback's pass in combination with the route by the slot receiver to the left. And then make a choice, is this a foul for intentional grounding, or is it no foul for intentional grounding? And you've got reasons there to guide you. Okay, we'll watch the play a couple times. We will publish the poll, and then we'll talk through it. All right, so we have our polls coming in. I'll go ahead and let it play one more time and end the poll. Now you should see the poll published. And let's talk about, so we had about a 2 to 1 split. 62% said intentional grounding, 37% said no intentional grounding. So let's look at this play, and then we'll introduce a few concepts as we go through. So at about the time the quarterback releases the pass, the receiver's really at the top of the route. So if we're watching this receiver, and not that this timing is always that great, but is the receiver going to break inside or outside? We really don't know. And the quarterback dumps the pass into the middle of the field. So, when the quarterback throws the ball into the middle of the field, we can't really give them too much grace just because the receiver may have run the wrong route. So when the ball is more towards the middle of the field, and we'll talk about grounding it out, into the sideline later. When the ball is more towards the middle of the field, really use a 5-yard radius around the receiver. Certainly that's not to scale. What the quarterback needs to do if he's going to throw the ball more towards the middle of the field is get the ball on, more of a line towards the receiver, more of a direct path. All right. So we can extend that 5-yard radius, make it more of an oval shape if the quarterback can get the ball more on a direct path to the receiver. And that's how we can give them a little bit more grace when the quarterback dumps the ball in the middle of the field. Okay, so if that, if it makes sense, ask questions. Doesn't make sense, ask questions. We want this to be interactive with a lot of questions. Okay, now move to the crew mechanics of the play. Look, the referee had no idea this was even a potential for intentional grounding. You look back, the referee is basically helping the quarterback up. If you're processing intentional grounding, you're probably not helping the quarterback up and spinning him around all poorly like that. So watch, we'll go to the wide angle. Watch what happens. Okay, we throw the ball to the middle of the field. Here comes the line judge. Here comes the field judge. Here comes the back judge. This is what we want crew mechanics wise when we're making judgments about no receiver in the area. Come in hard to the referee, because as you saw, referee's helping the quarterback up. He's not even processing that potential for intentional grounding. So this is an excellent job by the crew to come in, report to the referee, got no receiver in the area. Referee has to know in the pocket, under pressure, and then he steps out, makes the announcement. This play happened to be a safety. Okay, so ask questions. We'll be logging questions. We're going to move through the plays a little bit quick to get through the content, and then address questions at the end. Okay, play 2. So play 1, we threw the ball into the middle of the field. Play 2, we're going to throw the ball to the sideline. All right, so watch the play. There's going to be a pull. Quarterback throws the ball way out of bounds from inside the pocket. Is it a foul for intentional grounding? There's no receiver in the area. Is it no foul for intentional grounding? The receiver is in the area. Okay, we get a couple looks. Good angles, good video. So the play breaks down right away. The quarterback's clearly under pressure, which we'll talk about. So go back. One more look from the wide view. Okay, so I'll publish the poll. 86 to 13%. 86% say no foul for intentional grounding. So let's talk about why. As we replay. So 86% said no foul for intentional grounding, receivers in the area. Different from the last play, we're going to throw the ball out of bounds. Now, the quarterback's in the pocket, and we'll focus more on the pocket later on different plays. Okay, so quarterback is going to, he sees this player, and he's under a huge amount of pressure here. So he's going to throw the ball out of bounds. He's going to ground the ball. Once the ball about crosses the sideline is really technically where we want to map these receivers. And I know that's not practical. We'll talk about that. But we get a ball thrown over the head of a receiver. That receiver is outside the numbers. If it's in the general direction of that receiver, then we're going to put that receiver in the area. Okay? Could the receiver have caught this pass? No. But catchability isn't part of this rule. So we throw the ball out of bounds. It's in the general direction of an intended receiver, if you want to call him that. He's outside the numbers. We're going to consider him in the area of the pass. No foul for intentional grounding. Okay, that's play 3. That's play 2. Let's go to play 3. We'll move through the content. You're asking questions, and we'll be getting the questions answered, hopefully. Okay, play 3. What we're going to talk about. What information does the referee need to make a ruling on intentional grounding? So we'll watch the play a couple times. The poll should be published. Votes are coming in. We see the dynamics of this play. A little bit, now we got to make a decision from a couple different aspects. Here comes the play back. Thanks for bearing with us as we get familiar with our functionality here. So we're snapped. We see where we're snapped. We see what the quarterback does, his posture. So we had some options here. All right, so I'll end the poll. 81% said the referee needs both elements of the receiver in the area and if the pass crosses the neutral zone, okay? All right, so that's okay. That's okay if the line of scrimmage official provides those elements. But really, and most line of scrimmage officials will, but really as a referee, what we're thinking, we have to know what we're seeking, because it's so easy to get confused with all these elements. right? So we know we're going to map the pocket. Referee, center judges, you're mapping the pocket. We're snapped on what we would call position 5. In this case is the left hash. So we have 5 lateral positions across the field. Ask questions. So we know in general where the pocket is, right? So the quarterback is going to take the snap, shotgun quarterback. He drifts a little bit to his left. We kind of got to know that out of our peripheral. Now he's threatened. Pressure comes through. He's threatened. When in doubt, by national philosophy, if we have any doubt at all, because he's right on the edge, when in doubt, we're going to put him out of the pocket. Okay, so basically a good rule of thumb is one position over from position 5 to position 4 in this case. And again, ask questions if you don't know that terminology, but one position over is enough to put the quarterback out of the pocket, out of the tackle box. All right, so from this angle, so if the referee knows he's out of the pocket. So really all we need to know now is what? Whether the pass crossed the line of scrimmage. Okay? So think about mechanically, talk about how do we determine duress. Center judge, your block that you should be on, there's really no threat. You're going to transition to this player in the white jersey, busting through to threaten your quarterback. Once we move our vision to a player who threatens the quarterback, we consider the quarterback basically under pressure like this, okay? There's space there. It's not like they have to be draped all over him, but that's enough to consider the quarterback under pressure. If you never transition from the referee or center judge with your vision to a player who starts to pressure the quarterback, odds are the quarterback was never under pressure. Okay, so rule of thumb, that's kind of that's not written anywhere, but that's kind of a rule of thumb that I use in determining if the quarterback's under pressure. So referee at this point, it's close, but by national philosophy, if it's close, we consider the quarterback out. The intent of the rule is to allow him to legally ground the pass when all conditions are met. What's the line of scrimmage official going to do? He has to communicate. Did the pass cross the line of scrimmage? And different crews will come up with their own sets of communication standards. I think in this case, the line of scrimmage official is just pointing across the line, and that's probably what this crew has come up with. So really the referee needs to know the quarterback was out of the pocket. Now all I need to know is, did the pass cross the neutral zone? If I have the quarterback not out of the pocket, if he's in the pocket / tackle box, we're using pocket and tackle box interchangeably. So if I have the quarterback in the pocket, now I got to know if there's an eligible receiver. Okay, ask questions. Okay, play 4. I will publish the play, and we get another poll. Okay, play's going to start. Here comes the poll. Okay, tough play. Not really from the perspective of the headline judge and the side judge. Look at them come running in. Again, crew mechanics. This is excellent communication. We simply cannot handle these plays on our own as a referee. I know we throw the flag, but we need so much information. This is a crew call. Okay? So we're making our decision. Is it a foul for intentional grounding because the quarterback was in the pocket? Is it not a foul for intentional grounding? The quarterback was out of the pocket. And we have a large contingency of folks on the side of foul for intentional grounding. And I wish, from the perspective of the official that worked the play, I wish it would have been that easy and that clear on the field. But look, that's why we work plays. That's why we review plays, and that's why we have the opportunities to get better, because we missed this one. Why did we miss it? Let's talk about it. Okay, first, break the play down. Shotgun quarterback trips left. All right, so nobody in the area. Quarterback just grounds the ball into the sideline. There is nobody in the area outside, even the hash. Forget about the numbers. Outside the hash, there was nobody in the area, right? So here comes our headline judge, side judge. They're going to report, nobody in the area. I mean, it depends on what the referee asks. Okay, in this case, this is where we get surprised. We talk about communication. Communication's only good when we're not surprised. So in this case, if we're working this play and we're getting information coming in and we're surprised, the communication is gonna not go as well as we want to. So again, map the pocket. Here's the difference on the last play to the last play. So we know that, again, we're at position 5. So we either got to get out to the left or out to the right. And here's what's challenging. Quarterback drifts to the left, a couple steps, drifts to the left. And now he's going to take a couple hard steps to the right, and look at where he releases the pass, almost exactly where we snapped it. So we can't just use philosophy to say that he's out of the pocket, because he's not. And what happens with all this pressure and all these blocks going on? The quarterback gets pushed out of the pocket and ends up in a position that would put him out of the pocket, but he released the pass from in the pocket. So, end up getting fooled on this play. And this is maybe a decent look at how that happens. You've got all this pressure, you've got all these blocks working. Which block are you watching? And then all of a sudden, we've got contact, we've got a pass. We have to know just by pattern recognition, by body mechanics, where did the quarterback release the pass? If there's a significant hit that pushes the quarterback out that far, we have to put the pieces together to say he released that pass from in the pocket. And then when our officials come running in to tell us nobody in the area, we can say, okay, quarterback was in the pocket. That's a foul for intentional grounding. So good learning play. Good one to get better off of, certainly. And I think everybody should have access to those plays. So study that if you, unless, it's easy for you. It wasn't for me. Play 5. Okay, no poll for play 5. Play 5. I want to talk about kind of the anatomy of a 10-second runoff, all right? So intentional grounding, a lot of times we're under 2 minutes. We're under 1 minute in the second quarter. 35 seconds to go. Now the offense, which is New Mexico State, has 2 timeouts. All right, so New Mexico State, 2 timeouts. Great penmanship, thank you. All right, so we're gonna snap the ball. And here we go again. We're mapping the pocket. We know, unlike last play, we know the quarterback drops straight back, really doesn't threaten either edge of the pocket right here, okay? Certainly under pressure, right? So we know mechanically our vision as a referee or center judge should transition to those players coming through. Quarterback throws the ball out of bounds, tries to, throw the ball away to avoid a sack. Now, we talked about in the last play where we threw the ball out of bounds, if we can get the ball in a general direction over a player outside the numbers, we can put that player in the area. Well, that's just not the case on this play. Player doesn't even get close to the numbers. All right, so here we go. We've thrown the flag, and now we've got intentional grounding is hard enough, but now we've got clock aspects to understand. Okay, so good job again, side judge, headline judge, coming in, reporting information to the referee. Referee's looking at the clock. Side judge lets him know, hey, we're under a minute, and this play is going to qualify for a 10-second runoff. So now we got to execute communication. Okay, we got to ask. We got to ask team B, the defense, which is Washington State in this case, do you want to accept the 10-second runoff? They're definitely going to accept the penalty. I mean, it's a loss of significant yardage. It's a loss of down. So no question there. But do you want to accept the runoff? There might be a scenario where they don't. Apparently that signal means they do. We're getting great communication from this side. Now we got to ask team A, the offense, do you want to use a timeout? They said no. We give the signal. We enforce the penalty. We place the ball at the spot of the pass. We run 10 off the clock. We can see that we did. We went from 25 to 15, and New Mexico State elected not, in this case, to use a timeout. Okay, and then when we have 10-second runoff, just kind of a add in here, we're going to be very deliberate about putting the ball back in play. We're going to clearly communicate to the quarterback, look, we have a 10-second runoff, so we're going to start the clock. That's by rule. So we're going to tell the quarterback, I'm going to blow my whistle, point the center judge off, and wind the clock. When he leaves, you're free to snap. And you can see right there, they execute it pretty good. Ask questions about this, because this is we want to be very consistent about this across the country. I think this is a mechanic we're all using. be very deliberate once we put the ball back in play after a 10-second runoff. Make sure everybody knows what's going on. Okay, so that's play 5. Keep the questions rolling. Play 6 and 7. We got a little bit of a combo platter here. Okay, so hopefully we've all had our coffee. We gotta watch a couple plays and make a couple decisions. Play will start. Here comes the poll. All right, so we're going to see 2 plays, and we're talking about contact to the passer. What kind of impact, if any, does that have to, putting a player in the area of the pass or not? All right, watch this play. This play breaks down fast, and now we got people everywhere. So we're asking, is number 20 was in the middle of the field. He's the guy that recovers the ball. We can go back, and you'll get a TV shot. Is number 20 in the area of the pass? Do we consider number 20 in the area of the pass? Okay, and then the next play will come up, and you'll be able to finally vote. So 2 plays. Don't vote yet. See some people voting. Withhold your vote because we got another play coming up. All right, so scramble play. And forget about, I know we got illegal touching there by the big number 65. We're not really talking about that. Are we putting number 20 in the area of the pass? And if we need to go back, we can. Okay, now number 84. Where's number 84? Right there, right by the logo. Are we putting number 84 in the area of the pass? Is there a difference? We'll vote. We'll talk about it. And we'll discuss what difference, if any, we have. Okay, votes are coming in. Get one more shot on this play. And then we'll break it down. Okay, last look on this play. Number 84, is he in the area of the pass? All right, so a little bit of a split decision here. 44% is saying number 20 is not in the area. Number 84 is in the area. 32% are saying they are both in the area. So basically, about 3/4 of us have 84 in the area. The split decision is really about number 20. Okay, so let's go back. Let's look at the play again, break it down, and discuss some concepts relative to quarterback contact and what kind of impact does that have. I'm sorry, contact to the quarterback. What kind of impact does that have with regards to putting players in the area of the pass? Okay, so on this play, we've seen this play. Play breaks down. Here we go. Certainly, quarterback's out of the pocket. Once the quarterback leaves the pocket, leaves the tackle box, it ceases to exist. Okay, so even if he throws the ball from back on that big Bulldog logo, we don't consider him back in the pocket. The pocket's gone. The tackle box is gone. All right, now look what happens. The quarterback basically has 2 opponents on him. He has not started his throwing motion. Okay, we are going to be a lot more strict on what the quarterback can do in terms of legally grounding the ball. The closest eligible receiver is right there, number 20. Okay, so the quarterback's dumping the pass after contact to avoid the sack. It's really not even close in terms of the direction. I know we talked about 5 yards, but we're going to tighten that up if the quarterback dumps the ball after being contacted by the defense. All right, so we would agree on this play that number 20 is not in the area. Okay, so what we're trying to say, we have a 5-yard guideline, that some of us use, but it's not. There's other factors. It's not just cookie cutter. It's not absolute all the time. There's other factors at play. And on this play, the quarterback's contacted. He just dumps the ball. He doesn't really get it at all in the direction toward number 20. So we think the better decision here is to consider number 20 not in the area and make this call for intentional grounding. All right? It can be a tough play. with bodies like that going everywhere. This play, okay? So here's the difference. Quarterback is really starting his throwing motion right at contact. It's a subtle difference, but it matters. So he's cocking the ball just as the defender's coming in to contact him. And look, the ball's cocked. He's in his throwing motion. And, he sees 84. We can't, we don't really have – how do we make assumptions on who he's seeing? Nobody's really looking at it that way. But when we just use the body mechanics of how the quarterback is throwing the football, that contact affects his throwing motion. And so we're going to give him a little bit more leeway. He's throwing it in the direction of 84. The intent of the rule is to allow him to avoid the sack if other, all conditions are met. So we can, and I know that, that's 5 yards. That's a healthy 5, but he throws it in the direction of 84. The passing motion has started right as the contact is delivered. So we think the better decision here is to put 84 in the area. It's close. But I hope these two plays side by side show the difference in terms of, contact to the quarterback and what kind of impact that has. If the quarterback dumps the pass clearly after contact, then he really needs to get it closer to the receiver in terms of if the quarterback dumps the pass, simultaneous to and dumps the pass isn't the right. If he's in his throwing motion, simultaneous to contact, or he's in his throwing motion and then contact occurs, we're going to be a little bit more lenient because we say, look, the contact affected the result of the pass. All right, so that's play 6, play 7. We have one more play, and then we'll have a little bit of time for questions. We're moving right along. And play 8, there's no pull. So I know our instant replay friends have been chomping at the bit. What about us? So here we go. Instant replay. What kind of impact does instant replay have, in terms of administrating by rule intentional grounding? So here we go. Shotgun quarterback flushed out immediately, clearly out of the pocket, gets threatened. Ball comes loose right near the goal line. All right. So look at this play, think about mechanics, but we're not going to go too far into mechanics. Now, line judge, referee are going to get together. Line judge, referee get together. What do you have? These are tough plays. The ball comes out, umpire's coming in. Referee throws his beanbag in the end zone. What does that mean mechanically? That means we're going to rule fumble, okay? So the ruling on the field is going to be a fumble, forward and out of bounds. Spot of the fumble is in the end zone, therefore the result of the play is a safety. That's the ruling on the field. Now, replay is looking at this, and we get a great shot down the line, and almost miraculously, this angle opens up, to this shot down the line. Thought number 77 was going to block us, but we get this great shot down the line, and what do we see? We see the quarterback with control of the football and intentionally moving his hand forward. This is a pass. This is actually a pass. Understand maybe why we would rule fumble here if we have doubt, but, intentional forward movement of the hand with control of the ball. This is a pass. Now, what's the spot of the pass? Quarterback still has control of the ball and is just releasing the ball with the ball completely outside and into the field of play. The entire ball, look, there's space. There's space right there. Great shot down the goal line. No question it's a shot down the goal line. There's space. The spot of the pass is in the field of play. So if replay official feels this is sufficient evidence to stop the game and make this a pass, the crew has got to be excellent in their communication. Okay? We've got to be thinking anytime referee, center judge, we rule fumble and we get a replay stoppage, we've got to be thinking about intentional grounding aspects. So we know the line of scrimmage was the 5. Line of scrimmage was the 5. He's clearly out of the pocket. But he clearly does not get the ball back to the line of scrimmage, and certainly there's no eligible receiver in the area. The only players in white jerseys are all 60, 56, 77. The pass hits short of the line of scrimmage, so it did not cross the neutral zone. Okay, so now if replay is going to page, the referee has to make an announcement to something to the effect, and you guys sequence these announcements however you want, but something to the effect of, the previous play is under review. There was no foul on the play for intentional grounding because the ruling on the field was a fumble, resulting in a safety or whatever. We probably already made the safety announcement, so we don't have to repeat that. But if we make that announcement over the microphone, over the PA, then that allows replay, in the door, so to speak, right? That allows replay to come in. So out of replay, now that we've made the announcement prior to going to the headset, out of replay, if we overturn that to a pass, replay can create a foul for intentional grounding. Okay, so how would we do that? We basically come out of replay, and again, work on your announcements. But we basically come out of replay and say something to the effect of, after reviewing the play, the ruling has been changed to a pass. The spot of the pass was in the field of play. There was no eligible receiver in the area. The ball did not cross the line of scrimmage. By rule, this is a foul for intentional grounding. Penalty places the ball at the spot of the pass, loss of down, second down, and so forth. So work on those announcements. That probably wasn't the best one. So those are the 8 plays. Where are we at for time? Pretty good. It took a half hour. Those are the 8 plays. We can go back. We can look at plays. We can talk other concepts. We had a concepts document out. We covered almost all the concepts, I think with the exception of the play where the quarterback takes the snap. Maybe it's a flea flicker or so he hands the ball off. Basically, the quarterback takes the snap, he hands the ball off, he pitches it, and then the player who received the pitch goes out and grounds the ball. He does not get protection to legally ground the ball from outside the pocket. So, in other words, if another player takes the ball from the quarterback and throws the ball away, he has to get the ball into an area of an eligible receiver to not be at risk for intentional grounding. The same thing would be true for a flea flicker. Quarterback gives the ball to the running back pitches it back to the quarterback. Now the quarterback has lost his out-of-pocket protection to ground the ball into an area with no eligible receiver beyond the line of scrimmage. Okay, so we didn't have a play example of that, but that's another concept. It's rare, but I think we've had a few examples of those over time. So that's a lot of content. That's a lot of talking. Let's bring in some questions.
So Brandon, there were several really good questions, and you briefly talked about communication between the sideline officials and the referee in terms of intentional grounding. Talk about signals versus using the O2O or direct conversation, if you would.
Yep, great question. Very, very important because, with the advent of the O2O, I think we tend to rely on that too much. And certainly we can use it to enhance communication, but we don't want to use it to replace communication. So with intentional grounding, I'm a huge proponent, and again, talk amongst yourselves, talk to your coordinators, but I'm a huge proponent of using the same type of mechanics we've always used. So what are those mechanics? If you have a receiver in the area, let's come in hard. Let's come in hard pointing at that receiver, okay? So that's a visual signal to everybody that I'm ruling that receiver in the area of the pass. Make a judgment, sell it, right, wrong, doesn't matter. Sell it hard and point at the receiver. I've seen a lot of different iterations of what crews use to indicate that the pass crossed the line of scrimmage. So I'm not. It's not my role here to tell you what to use. Just come up with something that everybody knows, so we're on the same page. Now, if there's no receiver in the area, the pass doesn't cross the line of scrimmage. If we're more likely to have elements of this whole intentional grounding dynamic that can create a foul, what did we see the crew members doing in these play examples? Come in hard to the referee. Please do not try to handle this over the O2O. It's just, to me anyways, it's too confusing. And maybe we'll evolve and we can handle everything over the O2O and just stand there. But it's so much easier to execute all these different elements with face-to-face communication. So that's why you saw, side judge coming in, headlinesman coming in, headline judge coming in. line judge, field judge, back judge, umpire. Anybody can come in. If you don't have a receiver in the area, you have to come in and communicate that strong to the referee. And I mean, you can be on your O2O, but please just be coming in with a funny whistle just to make sure everybody knows, that you have communication. Okay. Now, in terms of referee center judge, it's always good every now and then just to test yourselves on quarterback in or out of the pocket, even if intentional grounding isn't even an aspect relative that's relevant to that play. Every now and then, the center judge and I might just say, hey, what did you think? Was that quarterback out of the pocket or in the pocket? And we'll just try to stay consistent throughout the game on those different play examples. But again, that's going to be more face-to-face communication. One piece of administrative collaboration that we can is if we lose the spot of the pass, that's an administrative element, right? The spot of the foul is an administrative element. So by rule, we can get help over the O2O from the replay booth, but we're not going to rely on replay to talk about, quarterback in or out of the pocket, receiver in the area. We need to be good on the field and handle all of those aspects on the field as part of our mechanics. All right, good question.
Yeah, you touched on a couple of other things that people were asking about center judge and the center judge role in helping with determine if the quarterback is in or out of the pocket. One of the other questions we had was, how are you determining if the quarterback is in the end zone? Like specifically referencing play 1, you kind of talked about it in play 8. Can you maybe discuss how do you determine if the quarterback is in or out of the end zone on the pass? We specifically referencing play 1.
Yeah, so play 1, I can put the play up. I don't think there's any, real secret, fantastic tip that we can talk about. We just have to kind of know. Honestly, let's just be honest. I know we talk. I think by rule, the spot of the pass is where the ball's released, but we're using the feet for all practical purposes. We're using the feet. So this quarterback is in the end zone. His body mechanic is basically getting hit and falling back, in contrast to play 8 where he was moving forward. So the referee, center judge, make a judgment. I mean, you just have to make a judgment, and you're probably going to use the feet in this case, understand the body mechanics. Our line of scrimmage officials are so good in terms of making spots based on body mechanics. And so this is one where we have to do the same thing, right? So, clearly on this play, on video anyways, the ball does not, he doesn't release the pass with the ball entirely out of the end zone. So I just think you have to use the feet, and body mechanics suggest that he's basically an upright quarterback releasing the pass, in contrast to the action we saw in play 8.
All right, cool. Couple of other questions. Play 7, 84 was blocking, and we talked about him being in the area. Is there any thought that we need to give to if is 87 trying to be a receiver versus he's just standing there blocking and he's not actively attempting to catch the pass?
Yeah, that's a great question. That I really should have touched on that. So by rule, you don't have to be attempting to catch the pass. It's really the onus is on the quarterback to get the ball into the area with an eligible receiver. And I think this rule changed. I don't know how many years ago they actually had to be attempting to catch the pass. And the rules gurus will tell me if I'm right or wrong on that. But now I know the rule now. The rule now is that he does not have to be attempting to catch the pass. He can be blocking. We see busted up screen plays all the time. The defense reads the screen. The quarterback reads that the defense read the screen. What does he do? He just almost spikes the ball at the feet of the intended receiver, the running back that was going to go out and execute the screen, or the slot receiver on a middle screen, whatever it is. So doesn't have to have a real solid opportunity to catch the pass. Quarterback onus is on him to get the ball into the area of the eligible receiver.
Okay. Let's talk about play 5 where you discussed 10-second runoff.
Yes.
Let's say the intentional grounding occurred at 11 seconds on the clock. Can you discuss your mechanics from the referee position, and what are you going to do, and is the offense going to get another play?
Well, that's up to the offense. I mean, we're going to do exactly what we saw in the video. We're going to administer the 10-second runoff. We're going to be excellent communicators, especially to the offensive, team head coach. And we want the referee to tell the quarterback, look at the clock. You've got 1 second. Center judge, I'm going to point the center judge off. I'm going to blow my whistle, and I'm going to wind the clock, right? So it's an administrative stop, so we're putting the ball in play with a whistle. Once the center judge leaves, they're free to snap it. Now it's all on them, okay? If they snap the ball near immediately to that, then they get the play off. If they're not organized enough to snap the ball and execute with the opportunity we've, given them. And I say give, that's not really what we're doing. We are consistent. We would do that for every team. It's just being very, it's just managing the game, administering the game in a deliberate fashion when time is of the essence. Okay. It's not great optics for the game to end with the team just, over the ball and not able to get the snap off. Now, we're not going to give them all day. I mean, we're going to tell them what we're doing. Now it's on them to execute. So yes, they can get the snap off if there's 1 second left, if they execute. What they can't do is expect to be able to spike the ball, to kill the clock and then get another snap off. Because by rule, if there's less than 3 seconds, you don't get another snap after you spike the ball. All right. Was there another element of that question, or did I answer it?
No. That was it. Okay. Play 8. This is really an instant replay question, and I don't know if you want to address that or not. But if you do not make an announcement about no foul for intentional grounding because of you ruled the fumble, could replay create intentional grounding without that announcement?
So by rule, no. I mean, by rule, we have to make the announcement prior to the review. As of today, and as of my knowledge, if there's other thoughts, I'm happy to talk about those. I mean, but as far as I know, replay casebook, rule book, there needs to be an announcement prior to the review. Otherwise, we're basically just re-officiating the play. So right. It's so important. It's so important for our on-field officials. Just do not rely on replay. Replay is a tool for us all as a crew, replay included. 10-person crew in Division I anyways, 10-person crew to get the play right. And we want to be able to get the play right by using every single tool in our toolbox, which certainly instant replay is one of them. So if we rule fumble because it's tight like that play, we have to know the other elements. We have to make the announcement. We go to the headset. We come out of replay. We enforce the penalty. So, if we don't announce it, we just can't re-officiate the play in replay as of today. And the reason we have to be so good is because if we don't enforce that penalty for intentional grounding, now the defense is put at a huge disadvantage. They made a great play. They forced the quarterback, to ground the ball. And so we have to enforce that penalty so that the defense is rewarded for making their great play.
Cool. Okay, we got a couple more questions. Time for a couple more. Play 3. The line of scrimmage official obviously doesn't know if the referee is working in or out of the pocket. Would you like for the line of scrimmage official to bring 2 pieces of information on that particular play? There's no receiver in the area, and the ball did or did not cross the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. You have to know both. And not just line of scrimmage in that case, but even, deep official needs to be aware and can certainly get involved. The way I positioned the question was, if you look at the quarterback, I'll bring the play up. If you look at the quarterback and his posture, he's clearly, let me get this play up. He's clearly trying to escape to ground the ball. The play is broke down. I mean, they're not trying to do anything but just like get rid of this play so that they can get the next play started. So as a referee, we have to sense that body posture. This player breaks free, the quarterback scrambling, and just by his posture, the way he throws, the angle at which he throws the ball. Look, as a referee, we're not watching the flight of the pass, but we can sense all of these elements. And so right there, we know the quarterback takes 2 or 3 hard steps. We have to make a judgment. And so in terms of, I talk about what is the referee is seeking. Certainly the line of scrimmage or deep official or whoever's involved there should have both pieces of information. But as a referee, go with me here. I want to know that I've got that quarterback out of the pocket. And so all I have to do is say, did that pass cross the line of scrimmage? Line of scrimmage official says, yes, it did. And then we, if it's in your mechanics to make an announcement about no foul, then you make the announcement. But so yes, the other crew, the other officials on the crew have to have both pieces of information. But in terms of what the referee is seeking, you've got the quarterback out of the pocket, you go with that judgment. When in doubt, we put him out of the pocket. So then we just need to know if the ball crossed the line of scrimmage.
So Brandon, I think you touched on this a little bit, but I want to give you the opportunity to elaborate if there's anything to add. So for example, on play one, you mentioned that the idea of ING wasn't really in your stream of consciousness until your crewmates come to you and communicate whatever information. So how do you then revert back to where was the quarterback in relationship to the pocket? Is that something you just do consistently every play so that it's a part of your mechanics? Or is there anything else that would maybe help any aspiring referees out there?
Yeah, good question. So, every play, personally, what I do, I wear two, quote, down indicators, rubber bands, right? So one is what down it is, hopefully. And the other one is the lateral position of where we snap the ball. So like in this play, we snap from the left hash. So I'm going to figure out how to indicate to myself that we're snapping from the left hash. And yes, every single play, we expect to know if the quarterback was in or out of the pocket, especially when it's relevant. I mean, we don't need empty mechanics. So you just know what you want to do is know the body posture and the body mechanics of the quarterback. In this case, he's dropping straight back. No lateral movement. I mean, a little bit of sidestep, but certainly not enough to get out of the pocket. And we just have to know that. Every time he's threatened, we just have to know as part of our routine as a referee, quarterback in or out of the pocket. Thanks for bringing it up on play one. If you bring it up on play four, it was pretty obvious based on missing the call that the referee did not know. And other thing, it's hard. I mean, look, we got holding aspects. We've got blocking. We've got, low blocks by running backs. We've got hands to the face by the defensive end, whatever it is. Now the quarterback's getting, threatened by two or three players. So there's a lot of elements, but we just have to do our best, and we have to recognize body mechanics of the quarterbacks, their movement, have a sense. Two hard steps. Was it lateral towards the sideline? That puts him out. Was it straight back like we saw in the 10-second runoff play? If all his movement is straight back, we just know that. We sense that. That's still in the pocket. If it's at an angle, now we got to make a little more judgment. Was it one step at an angle, 45-degree angle, trying to escape, or was it three hard steps at a 45-degree angle, and that's more likely to put the quarterback out? So it's about reps. It's about no different than any other position. We all have to do these different things, but it's about reps. It's just about sensing body mechanics, body language of the quarterback. Is he trying to get rid of the pass? And then you just map, and you can always go back to that down indicator to map where we started and then where the pass was from. And a lot of referees do a really good job. They sense a potential for intentional grounding, and they step right up to the spot of the pass as they're finishing any potential roughing the passer actions to the quarterback, right? So you step up to the pass, you're still dead ball officiating, and then you can basically piece it together based on where the ball was snapped from.
All right, Brandon, I think that's it. You've pretty much covered most of the questions that we had in the chat. Certainly want to appreciate everyone for tuning in again. Brandon, I don't know if you have any closing comments.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. Thanks for coming to the 2020 virus-free virtual clinic. We got to change the name to virus-free. None of us want this thing that's going around, but really appreciate everybody and very much grateful to get the ability to talk football during this time. Crazy time in our world, certainly. So thank you all for making this possible. And, we'll be back with a lot more. We've got another session tomorrow night, Thursday night, Friday, Sunday. I mean, we got all kinds of sessions coming up. So stay tuned for more information. We'll continue to try to learn the platform so we can get good content out. If you have recommendations, don't hesitate to reach out, and please let us know if you have any questions. Have a safe and excellent day. Thank you all.